Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to RTG TV. Apologies for the late start. We actually started on time, but PlayStation YouTube didn't want to let us start a stream. Said we were streaming when we weren't, so apologies for the late start. We're here for round 5 at the Hungaroring, of course, with Hungarian Grand Prix. 2 DRS zones around this circuit. It's 14 turns, 4.381 kilometres, 2.722 miles in length. Of course, the 3 tyre compounds for today is the C for the softs, as we see Prof spin out at turn 1, C3 the medium, C2 the hard tyres, and those ones we're looking like we're going to run for the whole session anyway, because of course we have forecasts from the admins now, and it's bright sunshine for both of these sessions. Pippo Kennedy is leading the championship with 82.67 points for Chuck. Third place is Super Striker with 63 points, 60 points for Chuckle. Royal Rumble is on fifth with 56 points, 109 points for Alfa Romeos. Ferrari's on 92. Alpha Tauris are on 89. The 2 Alpines were dropped from last week, or dropped themselves out of full-time seats. GT Ord's back, but as a reserve in the Haas, but the 2 Alpines have gone. We've got Nice Job Mate and Robbo as reserves this evening. One Wheel Kyle was the only one that didn't attend tonight, so apart from that I think we've got a full house of full-timers apart from the 2 reserves, and as I said, One Wheel Kyle who isn't partaking today. Lee, I feel like an actor because we've just done our second take.
Yeah, just typical bloody networks just being.
Admittedly,
well,
I made a mistake in the intro of the first video, so technically it was right to do take 2. Lee actually had to interrupt my intro to correct me on the fact it's round 5, not round 4. Where I'm looking at it, it's definitely round 5, but in my head for some reason I thought it was round 4. Anyway, apologies for the late start. We've still got just over 10 minutes of this Q1 session to go. Nice Job Mate was disqualified for parking in a dangerous location right at the very start of qualifying. That probably was out of the pit lane, would be my educated guess on that one. As Looney Man crosses the line with a 116.9. We were last here in Season 12, Round 3. It was the Thursday tier as well. And the poll time for that one was set by Robert, who's here this evening as well. So maybe let's take another poll the next time we're here in Hungary. We haven't been here for a season or so. It's a couple of seasons, actually. So Season 12, Round 3. And it was a 115.183 for that session, as we've seen most of the time. As we're a few months down the line from there now, and drivers had more experience getting used to F123, we should see a better lap time this evening, potentially. 116.695 is the provisional first place for Q1 so far. Lee, what do you think about Hungary?
I mean, it's got a wee special place in my heart.
Oh my God.
But yeah, shut up.
Oh, sorry, ladies and gents, I had a really busy day at work today. I'm sorry. Go on, Lee, what were you saying?
But nah, in all seriousness, it is, I do find it a good track, to be honest. It is a bit tough to overtake, especially through the middle section of the track.
I feel like tough is a bit of an understatement, but carry on.
Yeah, I mean, the straight, as Sector 1 would say, is a bit more easier, but still a bit difficult.
Sector 2 is about as difficult as it is for you to beat me on FIFA, isn't it? That's about as difficult as it is.
You're dead.
If anyone wants to know, by the way, me and Lee play Ultimate Team Friendlies. We're quite competitive, quite probably not being the best word. It's more than that. It's life or death. And I'm now 5 wins ahead, which I'm sure is leaving Lee with sleepless nights. We're talking about the wrong sport anyway. But yeah, Sector 2 is as hard as it is for Lee to beat me at the moment in EAFC 20.
Yeah, bear in mind it's not FIFA anymore.
Even though everyone still calls it FIFA. But anyway.
Yeah.
A different EA game. Yeah.
Robo, they're just starting a lap there, it seems.
Yeah, he must have done with the lap time he'd done before, 116.577. Couldn't get my words out there for Looney Man. Provisionally first in Q1.
Ooh, Chuckle having a right old wobble coming out of the penultimate corner there.
Difficult 2 corners they are as he goes on to provisional first place in the Alfa Romeo F1 Team Kick, which is, of course, next year is going to be called Stake F1 Team. Me and Lee spoke about this last week. Awful name, awful idea. Either bring back Alfa Romeo for 2 seasons or bring Audi forward. Or, here's one, Sauber F1 Team. But yeah, we said that we talked about it last week. Sauber Stake F1 Team, I'd have had no problem with. Stake Sauber F1 Team, probably wouldn't have had a problem with. Stake F1 Team. Like, it's like if Williams changed their name. I think they would just be. Do you imagine Williams being Stake F1 Team? Ferrari being Stake F1 Team.
Ferrari will never be called anything other than Ferrari.
Shit. Oh, sorry.
I mean...
strategy geniuses.
I mean, the drivers are better strategists than them.
What, Charles Bottle Job Leclerc?
Well, signs I would say. Especially in Singapore. Genius move.
Yeah, I do like Sainz. I like Charles as well, but he is a bottle job. It can't be denied.
Nah, I've got to be honest there. He does bottle it quite a lot.
I saw a stat the other day for Charles Leclerc that said that he has something like 25 pole positions, but only 5 wins. That's not a great... Like, don't get me wrong, 25 poles, that's pretty impressive, but to only equate that to 5 wins...
That is abysmal. That's like, what,
He's had a 20% strike rate, yeah.
Jeez.
And I'm correlating that to football again. 5 goals for a striker in 25 games. Do you know what I mean?
Slow clap.
Yeah, it's not great.
Talking about not great, it's not looking great for Danny right now, as it appears he's invalidated another lap and he's not been able to get a shot in to even finish a lap.
He's really struggling at the moment.
Yeah, but he's going to have to get a move on in order to get a time in. It could be a one and done, quite possibly.
Potentially, yeah. Just having a look at our stats for the season. So there's only been one driver, bar from the Alpines, which obviously are going to have to be taken out. So we'll have to ignore them tonight. One Will Carl's the only one that's been knocked out in Q1 twice this season, actually. Yeah, I think that's right. Perm Bowden struggled as well, outside the top 10. And of course, that's other F1 news. Haas, which Lee only found out about but a minute ago, that Günther Steiner, of course, has been let go, sacked, stepped down himself. Not really sure what's the case. Sad for Formula One, I think, big personality. I think it's somewhat to do with Lee as well. I didn't say this, that he might be joining like a reality TV show in America or something.
I mean, you never know.
I think that's what it was to do with, but I guess if I was Gene Haas, I wouldn't be too happy with that, because if you're my manager of my Formula One team, that's what I want you to be doing 365 days of the year, not going off and doing TV shows in America.
Yeah, fair. But I did read somewhere that there was something about Günther Steiner was asking for like more money.
There's been a thing about him owning a % of the team that's gone around a bit, because my understanding was that it was really his team, like it was his idea. He built it up from scratch. Gene was the investor and put all the money behind it, but of course, money talks, so he's the owner of the team. And I just think as well, maybe Gene was getting a bit too much of the spotlight. Maybe. I'm not too sure. But to be fair, he's been their only team principal, and they've kind of been a bit of a yo-yo team, haven't they? Keep going back to the analogy of football. They're a bit like a... wow, it's a bit too much of a stretch. I was thinking Leicester City, but of course they won the league. But a bit like that, they're now down in the second tier. You know what I mean? They've been up and down, been a bit all over the place. Obviously finished last in the constructors last season. Williams made a big jump, which I'm pleased about. I don't think Williams should be anywhere near the bottom, to be honest.
No, I agree. They should be up there battling.
Points at least, a midfield team at the very least, I think.
Yeah.
Ginger asking if he was safe, Lee, to go back to, well, not just real Formula One or football, to actually what we're supposed to be talking about. Ginger said, do we think he's safe?
I'd say so. I mean, looking at the gap between even, like, say, Pippo Kennedy and Ginge, it's about half a second there, so that's only to 13th. But then again, that could all change.
Yeah.
As, well, that's them coming out for their final laps.
Yeah, it is a short lap around here, as we know. As you can see the lap time, so qualifying time right now is a 1:16 at the highest, but yeah, short track here, one of the shortest, along with obviously Monaco being that shortest circuit. And then I think it's this one, of course, famously nicknamed Monaco without the walls. It's difficult to overtake around here, it really is. Mexico as well, very short circuit, even though it seems a little bit... I find, get my words out, Mexico, I was going to say Monaco, Mexico to be a bit like a TARDIS track. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to be one of the smallest, but it doesn't feel that short.
It's just to do with that big straight and how it's, I would say it's quite a high-speed track.
Yeah. Not one of my favourites, though. Don't mind commentating on it, racing on it. I'm a bit of a different opinion, actually.
To be honest, looking at the track, it looks a bit, in my eyes anyway, it looks a bit like a Monza, but just with a bit more chicanes.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like Monza, though.
Oh no, does it what?
but on the other hand, it's quite difficult to overtake at Monza as well, where there's a whole load of straight. So Formula One tracks are a bit odd. We've got the two Hasses, who are the only ones that can save themselves now, Lee. One of them is going to be out. It's the battle of the Hasses now. Yeah.
They're both down on their time. Perrin Boden's down by 7/10, unless he can recover it in the final sector.
Yeah, not many corners to get that recovered, though, is there? And he seems like he's kind of messed up the turn 12 there, I think. And then into turn 13. As you said, really, and there he goes, backed out. So there we go, Lee. I think the Haas of GT Ord will be going through to Q2. And we've got our bottom three for this Q1 session. So, Ginge was safe by quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it's what? It's over a second, is it, to GT Ord anyway?
Yeah, there's quite a big gap in the grid at the moment.
I mean, sometimes you've got to expect something like that. Sometimes at tracks like this, you know, you're threading the needle pretty much constantly. So, yeah, it's a bit of a toughie. But looking at the final order for the first of 3 qualifying sessions, we got Robbo, who got that fastest lap there by a quarter of a second, 1:16.028. And then after that was Pippo Kennedy, then Chuckle, Koyaks, Ake, Looneyman, Matty Jones, Lee, Chuck and Super Striker. Then it was Ginge, Danny, Royal Rumble, Prof, and GT Ord. They will all be moving on to the next stage of qualifying. Ben Bowden, Arg, and Nice Job Mate, though, they will be starting in their respective places of 16th, 17th, and 18th. And they will not be continuing on to the next stage. So, up next, a 15-minute session where the top 15 will battle it out for a place in the third and final qualifying session, where only the top 10 will move on and 5 will be eliminated.
So, as Lee said, we've got another
Robbo.
15 minutes. Robbo's decided to retire, maybe because he's a reserve. I've noticed this on Monday as well. A couple of the reserves retired. I think they had it last Thursday as well, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so... Sorry, bear with me 1 second.
No.
Sorry, apologies. Right, we're still waiting for drivers to come out. They're now exiting the pit lane. We've got GT Ord followed by a Ferrari, which is Super Striker. Finished quite well last week in Britain. If you haven't watched that, check that out, or check out the highlights video if you don't want to watch the full race of around 45 minutes, or the whole stream. It's around an hour and 45 minutes long, give or take. But yeah, if you want to watch the highlights, it's around 7.5 minutes highlight video, around 10 to 15% of the race. You get to see the majority of the best bits as well. Again, for me, Monday, if you've watched the stream back or you've watched it since, apologies for me being on mute. Really embarrassing. Obviously, it's good to have Lee here on a Thursday, because Lee would have told me within 30 seconds that I was on mute.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I didn't have the competence to look down at my controller to see a little orange light that shows that you're muted. Yeah, so apologies for that. But I have the highlights video this week, and I might dub over some after audio to give you something back from that. I suppose it's the beauty of editing. Yeah, so make sure to check that out at the weekend. It might be a bit later this weekend because I'm working all weekend. Sad face. But yeah, it'll be out by the end of the weekend anyway. As we've got Super Striker starting his lap, and I do promise for the next 2 qualifying sessions, me and Lee will stop rambling about Formula 1 and other things to do with F1 and FIFA, EAFC, and we'll talk about what's going on. We definitely could make a podcast, couldn't we, Lee, with the rubbish we talk about.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh.
Well, saying that, I may use this channel as a platform. Now, last thing I will talk about, that is F1 related, but not about this. Last thing I will talk about. So if anyone's in the comments, or Lee, thinking it might be a good idea, Jack wants to do a podcast with me. My friend Jack, who does not know anything about Formula 1, and he kind of wants to learn about it, but he wants to do it through a podcast. If anyone's interested in hearing about a novice ask me questions, let me know, because we might do it. We're also considering doing it drunk. I think that could also be even more funny.
Oh, dear Lord.
If anyone wants to see that, I mean, we discussed this over playing chess whilst getting drunk playing chess, but the aim of the game was every time you took someone else's piece, you had to take a shot. We got very drunk very quick. Good game, though. He won, and I was checkmate pretty quick. Anyway.
Done rambling.
Done rambling. Would you like to see that, Lee? Would you like to see that podcast? Or hear that podcast?
I'm unsure.
Would you like to hear it drunk?
Probably not.
No? Okay.
But,
well, he keeps banging on with me about it, but admittedly he bangs on to me about it when he's drunk.
Oh, not real. But yeah, enough rambling, and we'll get back to the action. We're just seeing it a few times start coming in. We've got Pibble Kennedy on top right now with the 116.353, and if Q1's anything to go by, he might just make it through. But then again, these times are going to be getting quicker and quicker as the time goes on.
Yeah, well, they refer it to as a green circuit when we get going. There's no rubber down. The track feels more slippy, and it's really not up to racing standards. More and more we go through this, and we've had 18 cars running around. Now got 15 putting rubber down, making the track get faster and faster, which does happen. We've got Koiks now getting close to the 115s, which hopefully we'll get into at some point. More than likely will. I mean, just to remind you, it was a 115.183 from Robbo, who's retired in this session, so we're not going to see a pole time from him. Ginger's just settled out 123, but surely that was a lap he backed out of. By looking at his battery at the bottom of his steering wheel there, the yellow bar, he's pretty much topped up with electrical energy as soon as he makes his way through turn 2. Through the kink of 3, nice and easy flat in a Formula 1 car, and then keep left until the very last moment, move right, and then you go through the quick turn 4, which is like threading the needle early at about 120 miles an hour before we hit the brakes around quite late at the 50-metre ball for the chicane that is unforgiving if you get it wrong.
Oh yeah, definitely, and you can't take too much of the curb, as well, that high curb on the very inside of each apex will tend to set you off balance. Now coming up to the penultimate corner now, where you end up going back on yourself, and then another corner just the same, going back on yourself again for the final time, and to the line. What's he going to be able to do? He goes 8th with a 116.953.
Oh, someone else that just crossed the line, not sure who that. Not sure it was Matty Jones up into 4th with 116.530. Chuckle the only one now not to set a time out, the 14 that now can set one. Still sitting in the pit lane. Got Super Striker out quite quickly after his first attempt to go again. Hey John. John says hello in the chat. Haven't seen you for a little bit, John. Nice to see you back.
Yeah, nice to have you back. Let's see. So, in the elimination zone right now, we've got Royal Rumble GTR and both Alfa Romeos of Prof and Chuckle. Rumble, of course, DNF'd right at the very start.
Okay, so of course this is our third full qualifying session of the year. After round 4, we'd had 2 sprints and 2 full qualifying sessions. So it's only the third one. We've got a couple more sprints coming up. Next one I think is in 2 weeks' time in Brazil. So, oh no, sorry, I'm thinking of Monday. Gets a bit confusing sometimes when we do Monday and. Okay, well, nice to see you back though, John. Anyway, let's see how good you think Super Striker's lap is here as he makes his way through the chicane in the middle part of the lap. Turn 6, 7, now 8 and 9 that comes up on you quite fast. Got this little straight into turn 10. And then we'll lift for turn 11. Used to be flat a couple of years ago in the 2020 and 2021 Formula 1 cars. Now we've got ground effect. Slightly made the car slightly slower than they used to be, so he makes his way around the penultimate corner now, the 180-degree left-hander of turn 13, and then back the other way again to go back onto the start-finish straight. And what time is he going to set? Goes third fastest, a 116.365. I'm surprised, Lee, how far off we are from pole last time. Unless you misquoted. Unless it was a 116.1. A long way to go.
I hope it didn't.
Now I've made you think, haven't I? I'm thinking that we're a long way from that. I know obviously it's supposed to be tier 2. Thursdays before were not tiers, it was a mixed bag. But yeah, still a long way away. I mean, RTG in both tiers are quite close. Obviously, you can see we've got a couple of drivers who partake in both, and that's kind of because they're on the cusp of the AI limit that people people's AI level, which is what we judge these guys off of. I think it's sort of, we would say 110. They say 15, but obviously it does go sort of sky's limit to 110. 95 to 110 is kind of the limit for tier 1. And tier 2, I'm assuming it's 95, sort of down to 80, something like that, which is tier 2. I hear Lee's bing, which means he's usually back off mute, which would mean
I was correct.
it is a 115 one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what I'm thinking, what it could be, is possibly to do with handling models being updated a little over time.
Okay. Have the cars got slower since patches?
Possibly. I have no idea.
They're quicker than F122 cars, aren't they?
I think so, yeah.
That's what I believe. I think they are quicker than F122 cars. So now we've got we're looking at the last driver who hasn't set a lap. Something caught your eye, Lee?
Yeah, Royal Rumble coming out of turn 11 went quite wide, but didn't invalidate his time. He's currently sitting at 11 with 117.143. He comes across the line, 116.866. And we'll see, he got a bit lucky there coming out turn 11.
So as you can see, we're watching one of the admins, one of the owners of RTG, make his way through turn 1. Chuckle, I said, the only one who is yet to set a lap time today in Q2. Through turn 2 and 3, nicely balanced and stable, of course, through 3 up to the corner where you have to thread the needle. Very difficult to get right. Watch track limits on the outside, but you want to get the car all over the curb as you can possibly can to open up the corner and keep your apex speed up. As he comes into the chicane of 6 and 7, got the Mercedes who gets out of the way nicely. I think he'd have preferred him to go out of the way a little earlier than he did. Turn 8, 9 dealt with really nicely. 10, again, flat. 11, slight lift, maybe a touch of the brake pedal, and then back on the power into sector 2, done a 54 flat in sector 1 and 2. It's a culmination of both sectors, the time that's given at the end of sector 2. As we come through the final couple of corners, technically going off track, but it never gives you an off track there as he went over the pit lane white line. Through the final corner, across the line, 115.7. First time we've seen the 115s today. To go back though, Lee, that is something I've noticed before. The line for the pit lane, which would technically be the track limit line, you can go over here at the exit of turn 13.
Never knew that, to be honest.
I'm not sure if it really, obviously, Chuckle putting a good lap time anyway. Not too sure going that wide would actually produce you better lap time. You seem like going a lot further, to be fair. But I would still deem that the white line, even though it's dashed.
True. Unsure myself what that would be classed as, anyway, but I'm seeing now Jen just starting a lap now, I think. No, he's done 2 warm-up laps, I think, as he's not using any battery. Chuck, though, is on a lap and he's just coming up to turn 12 now, this right angle corner, and then, GTR's out.
So we're only going to be losing 3 now in Q2. And 2 of them have already had their fate decided as he makes his way through the final corner. A bit out of shape when he got on the power at the exit. Goes on to the front row along with his brother, but hasn't been able to get into the 115s like his brother. I'd actually love to know. I need to ask Lee which one is the older sibling.
Yeah, I'd be keen to. Yeah, it would be fun to know anyway. But looking at the gap between Koyaks and Chuck, it's 0.02 of a second.
Yeah, very, very close. Aki just finished the lap, goes 4th fastest, looking good for the Mercedes at the moment, the Mercedes duo. The Ferraris as well, both sitting inside the top 10. We're within a minute now, Lee, of the checkered flag falling for Q2. It actually feels like it's going very quick at the moment. As we go through the final corner with Looney Man, he's going to be starting his final lap. Safe at the moment. but he's certainly in a position where that could change at any moment. He's going to have to do another lap to make sure he can stay inside the top 10 and potentially fight for pole. Lee comes across the line 4/10 faster than he was before, goes on to the second row in Q2. He's sitting in fourth with a 1:16.293. A lot of them, Lee, getting into the low 1:16s, just struggling to get into that next second.
Yeah, we're seeing what 4 of them there, all within a tenth of each other, from second to fifth. To fifth, sorry. So yeah, quite close.
Sorry to cut you off. Matty Jones as well set a lap time just before the checkered flag, and he's gone to second with a 1:16.1. Another one banging on the door at the 1:15s, but hasn't been able to open it just yet as Looney Man makes his way around the penultimate corner of 13. Really tricky final sector here. Easy to light the rear tyres up and be facing the wrong direction within a moment's notice as he makes his way around the final corner. Looks like he's pretty much safe now, Lee, and it certainly is, as the checkered flag is out for every driver outside the top 10, and one of them that I'm slightly shocked to see not in Q3, Lee, is RTG Ginge.
Yeah, so after doing quite a good lap and getting a good position in the previous qualifying session, but unfortunately couldn't pull it together for this second qualifying session.
Ginge has actually been unable to get into Q3 every time we've done full qualifying this season so far, if my stats are correct. So just really struggling to perform in qualifying as of this first half of this season. Matthew Jones in the Ferrari as well, doing pretty well, getting into Q3 pretty regularly. Of course, people like Chuck as well, who's got into every Q3 session so far this season.
There we have it, the end of the second of 3 qualifying sessions now. Now time for the rundown. So Chuckle got the fastest lap there, first person and only person up to now in the 1:15, so with a 1:15.732. Behind him was Matty Jones in the Ferrari, then it was Chuck, Kayaks, Lee, Looneyman, Aki, Pippo Kennedy, Danny and Super Striker just making it through there. Unfortunately, Ginge, Royal Rumble, Prof, GT Ord and Robbo will not be moving on to the next stage of qualifying and will be starting in their respective places of 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th. So moving on to the next qualifying session where the top 10 will battle out over a 12-minute period to determine the pole position and who is going to be getting that extra point.
Who's getting that extra point, Lee? Who's getting it?
Well, up to now, Chuckle's the one that set the benchmark in time. We could see if he could do it again in this qualifying session. Whether he can or not, that's another thing.
Of course, the other thing to note, tactically, strategically, how many people have still got 2 sets of softs remaining? Potentially all, potentially not. You do have to play it quite tactically in the first 2 qualifying sessions. You really do, to be fair. Usually what most people do is, I think the norm, correct me if I'm wrong, Lee, you would use 1 set in Q1 if you can get away with it, potentially start on that used set in Q2, use a fresh set at the end of Q2 just to make sure you're safe, and then you should have 2 fresh sets at the end if you've gone from a balanced or a softer tyre allocation at the very start. You either get 4 sets of soft with a softer allocation, 3 softs and a set of mediums you wouldn't usually use. You want to carry that over to the race, but another set of softs opens up, which is your race set that you can use. You technically get 4/5 sets of softs for qualifying, depending on what allocation you take. But that's usually the route that I would go down. One set in Q1, use that same set at the start of Q2, new set at the end of Q2, and then you get 2 fresh sets.
Mine's is a little bit different in Q2 anyway. I just go out on a fresh set, then do another lap on them sets.
Yeah. Everyone's different, but basically you want to recycle a set or two of those softs in the first 2 sessions, just to keep some in your piggy bank for the final session.
Yeah, I do prefer to always try and have 2 sets of softs going into the race, just in case, like, maybe you'll let safety car and whatever,
Yeah.
you know, best to be prepared.
And,
you know, but...
So, who was the driver that took the line first to start their first lap in Q3? I think it was Pippo Kennedy who started the parade off, the driver sitting at top in the championship right now. His win coming from Japan in round 2 in the mid part of December last year. And looking pretty good in this qualifying session so far, looking pretty comfortable with the car as well, as he comes into 6 and 7, using the, I don't know if you're watching Pippo there, Lee, but he'd used the curbs lovely through 6 and 7, just used enough without going up onto the sleeping policeman, as he goes through turns 10 and 11, using the curb nicely on the outside as well. Nice and tidy, this, not looking too out of shape, but sometimes when you sort of wrestle the car around, it can give you more lap time, but on the other hand, when you're really gentle, you can also produce a lot of lap time. It does also depend on your driving style and how the setup works for you. But overall, he looked like a very, very nice lap as he crosses the line. A 1:15.8. It was a very nice lap.
Nicely done from Pippo Kennedy there. And I've seen Matty Jones get into the 115s, a 115.951.
And then the 2 behind him in the 116s. Then we've got the Aston Martin Ali crossing the line after him. He's third with a 116.1. But yeah, Pippo, that was a very nice lap actually. I sometimes think it looks better than it was, but that really was as good as it looked. I think it was a lovely lap to watch actually. Aki, 1:15.9, 4-1, hundredths of a second ahead of Matty Jones.
Yep, nicely done. Up next, Koyx Gamer, just coming around the final corner now to set his lap. What's he going to put in? A 1:15.779.
Provisional pole for him. What's Chuckle going to do? The next one across the line, 6th fastest, 1:16.0. Not as good as what he produced in Q2. Of course, the times all get reset, so it doesn't matter if he did a 1:9. It doesn't matter if he did a 1:9.1 in Q1. If you don't produce that in Q3, you're not going to get on the pole position, no matter how fast, or if you had a rocket ship strapped to the back of your car in Q1.
Look at the Mercedes.
Wow, wow, wow. Same car, same time.
I think they must have the same setup on.
Potentially. Or they're just doing as well as each other, potentially. That's just that's the beauty about racing, though, I suppose, and just sport in general. Racing more so than most, actually, because the famous saying, "The clock never lies." You could say that with football, but you know, VAR, it's very hit or miss. Same with rugby with their TMO, their video refereeing as well. Yeah, but the sport like racing in any sense, unless you're going over the white lines, which we've cleared up now in the last year or two, which I've always agreed you should be in the white lines. Again, other sports, football, ball can't go over the white line on either side of the pitch. It's a throw-in. You shouldn't be able to go over the white lines. And the stupid rules of it's to the edge of the curb.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. There was one time I seen, and it was actually IndyCar. And when I seen that, I was like,
Cota, yeah, I know exactly what you're on about.
Penultimate corner. I was like, bro, that's not even a corner anymore.
You might as well draw some more white lines and get a red pen or a white pen and draw some curbs right out there somewhere, because they've just decided the track goes that way. Yeah, no, I completely agree.
I was actually gobsmacked when I seen it.
Yeah, well,
I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
no, I know, it's ridiculous. And that's one of the things about like street circuits. That sometimes they're so good because you can't. It's either track or wall, or a bit of curb and then wall. Like that's it. There's the old track like I'm trying to think actually. Singapore got a bit, there's a white line and there's a bit of room before the wall. But the majority of them, obviously, especially Monaco, it's track, curb, wall. So you can't even take your car all the way over. So only one or two wheels are on the track, which is obviously the raw one wheel. Yeah,
I think
but
what is
Vegas,
it? 3. There's only like 3 places that you could actually go off the track. Is it?
what, Monaco?
Yeah.
Yeah. First corner, swimming pool.
And
Now I'm struggling.
the tunnel.
Noval, yeah, the Noval chicane. Danny though, struggling on the exit. Gone out very early as well, Lee. Very, very early. And if the track is ramping up like it has been, he's gone too early. Really, even though he's got the track all to himself. Well, actually, I say that. Got Super Striker just starting a lap. He's going down the start-finish straight now. Got his Ferrari teammate just coming out the pit, so he better get out of his way as well. But Danny not set a lap just yet. Left it late. Did he leave it late in Q1? He did, didn't he? And he's out of shape through 6 and 7 as well. Seesawing at the wheel. You've got to have a confident car, confident setup in this middle sector, because it can all go horribly wrong, especially a few corners back there. And this one here, turn 11, which can the whole car can feel like it's just going in the completely wrong direction. If you get the setup wrong, you know about it here at Hungary. It's one of those places where it will bite you bad if you mess it up. And whoa, hold on a minute. I think Danny has forgotten where the braking points are.
I think he forgot his brakes for a second.
Yeah, well, I was watching him off board and it cut to the camera angle where I couldn't really see it. But before he hit the wall, I thought to myself in my head, he's going to hit the wall. He's going very fast into a very slow corner. But he's just got about enough time to get back out. Obviously, there's no 1:15.5, getting closerly to that pole time in season 12. We're about 4/10 off it now, or just under 4/10, but 4 and a bit, 4 3/4 off the time. Still a long way to go though, with only 2 and a bit minutes left on the clock. Matty Jones now starting his lap, so a bit of a difference here, Lee, than a bit different from the norm, in terms of we've had a couple go out early, 3 to be precise, go out early and have a bit of a clear track to get on with it, and now we've got the rest sort of coming out like it's the M25 around London on a Friday afternoon. It's it's going to start getting quite hectic with traffic in the final stages of the lap, but definitely had a sort of tale of two halves in this last part of qualifying, with how they're going to deal with their final lap.
Yeah, it's going to be one of them. It is obviously quite a tight track, so they're going to need to get that clean air right away before they even start the lap. Let's see, Danny managed to get it back out again anyway. Got Looneyman in the lap. Where is he? Just coming out of turn 2. Mike Jones though coming to the line.
Yeah,
is he up on his time?
He is, by about half a tenth. So gained him some positions. Not a lot of lap time gained, but he's on the second row in 4th. Looking very good for the Ferraris right now. Not so good for the McLarens though, as Looneyman's on his, I believe he's on his final attempt. He is, yeah. And Danny's still on a out lap. We've still got quite a few who are on their out laps, preparing for their finals.
Just on board with the Looneyman as he's just coming up to the penultimate corner now. And we'll be able to see how he's going to attack this final corner. And then it's just straight to the line and see if he's going to be able to get a better time than 116.727. Yes, he does. He goes 7/10 quicker with a 115.997, moving him into 7th place. We'll see who is up next. Matty Jones in the Ferrari. We'll see what he's going to
No,
do.
he's already done his lap. So it's Aki up next.
Ah.
He's just coming out of the second sector. He's a tenth and a bit up, almost 2 tenths up on his lap time. That's going to give him a couple of places there. It might put him onto the front row, actually, if he carries on the way he's going. Slightly wide into turn 13, then takes a late apex. It was a nice line through 13. Similar idea through 14. Didn't use any of the curb though on the outside, but he gets onto the first on the first row into second place, and then Chuckle takes provisional pole with a 115.4. This man means business. His brother Chuck goes 5th fastest. He can only make the 3rd row. Coix Gamer's coming up to the line. So is Danny. What's he going to do? He's starting 10th. We've only got Coix Gamer to go. Been on pole this season so far, but not today. It's going to be Chuckle on pole position with a 115.447. Coix Gamer starts on the 2nd row in 4th place. But the track got very, very quick in Q3, Lee. Very quick.
Yeah, it did certainly ramp up quite a bit there. In just the closing few moments there, I mean, we're seeing that the top 8 there, all within the 115s. So yeah, and then obviously Lee just missing out by just over half a tenth. But yeah, we're just waiting on Winnieman getting back in.
Yeah, so while we wait, before Lee gives down the final rundown of the top 10, please make sure you're liking the videos, guys, if you're enjoying the content. Johnson, he did call Chuckle for pole, so yeah, good job, John. Before Lee does quickly, make sure you like the videos and subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out for all the videos and share them to your friends who like watching League races and anyone that wants to join.
Yep, so as the qualifying over with now, and we've got Chuckle on pole position, and he's also going to get that extra point for getting that pole with a 115.447. Joining him on the front row will be Super Striker, then behind them will be Aki, then Coix, then Chuck, Pippo Kennedy, Matty Jones, Looneyman, Lee and Danny. So moving on to the rest now, where we're going to have 35 laps of racing. So, looking forward to this then.
So if anyone hasn't watched before, we don't do a formation lap in RTG just because F1 has an issue with it and has done ever since the very start, so we don't touch that at the moment. So the way we look at the tyres is the race director, so we just have a sneak peek through there. Mediums and softs, it's looking like the consensus across the grid. No one touching the hard tyres just yet. I can see more people going to the mediums than the hards, Lee. That's for sure. Mediums and the soft, sorry. I'm surprised not to see anyone on the hards, though. Wow, I say that. We've got one now. Argues in 17th. He's decided to go on the hards. No surprise there. Trying to go the long game and hoping maybe for a later safety car or something of that measure, and see if that will work out for him.
Yeah, I mean, it is possible. You never know. But looking at this, he's got a good few people on the softs just ahead of him. It looks like Danny's going hard as well.
If you keep us updated on that, then just let us know. I'm going to have my screen from now on the main screen, so we don't miss the start. We usually get around a minute before we start, so it should be about another 20 seconds.
So in the top 13, there's only one on softs, Codex Gamer, who's sitting in 4th, and Danny, who's on the hards, in 10th. And then from there, GTR, Robo, and Permboden, soft. Arg on the hards, and then nice job, mate, starting on the mediums at the rear. So mostly medium runners right now.
So we should be getting started any second now, I would think. So we get around a minute, about 30 seconds to get going, and then we have a 30-second countdown after the admins get ready. And here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights. And we're away for this Thursday tier race here in Hungary. Chuckle getting a decent launch. Super Striker, I think, got slightly bogged down there, lost a bit of time. He's got Koitz Gamer coming up his inside there. He tries to defend it, but he's already left him the space. Up the inside goes Koitz Gamer. It's 3 wide into turn 1, giving each other enough space. He's now not got the traction. Super Striker looks like he's got away rather nicely here. Wheel banging between the Red Bull and the Ferrari, and again. And then against the Mercedes of Aki, who is lost out and fallen back. Koitz Gamer now up into 2nd place. Chuck has moved up a place as well. There's an Aston Martin in the background getting a bit out of shape, been able to get it under control before he got into the grass and into the barrier. Williams there of Royal Rumble looked like he tried to go up the inside and failed miserably. Virtual safety car has been deployed. That seemed like way too much high risk there, Lee, into the 4th corner.
And well, unfortunately, I wasn't on board. I did miss that. One person I was on board with was Robo, who made up 6 places in the first corner. Well, by the first corner. So he's went from 15th up to 9th already, and we weren't even out of sector 1 yet. So he got a great start there.
I do like the fact that we've seen virtual safety car rather than safety car come up on our screen.
Yes.
We don't see enough of the VSC. We see too much of the safety car. And it definitely doesn't ruin the flow of a race, a virtual safety car. It definitely feels like a bit more of a respite than anything else. Danny's decided to come in, and I think I've now got hiccups at the very worst time. Hopefully I'll be able to get rid of them quickly. I'm not sure if I do or not. We'll find out in a second if I do. Chuckle, though, 2 seconds away from Koitz. I don't think that happened at the end of the VSC. Is he just holding back to get racing again before we get the green flag? We got the green flag racing again. He did make up a lot of time, actually, into the 1 second. So I think that's exactly what he did. Just back down a little bit just so he could get going before we actually got going again and potentially had that little bit of a jump. But he also made the jump on Super Striker Lee as well, impressively.
Yeah, basically works out that he was basically holding them up just a little, just enough to be able to get a good launch when it was time. Build up that delta a little.
Oh, apologies, one button. Tyres. So 1 driver on the mediums, the majority are on... one driver on the hards, the majority are on the mediums. 2 drivers have gone on to the soft tyres, so we'll see how that works out. But most of the drivers going for the middle ground, literally and figuratively speaking as well, just going for that medium tyre and seeing how long they can go for it. It's definitely a bit of a best of both worlds, especially of a circuit like this. As Koitz getting very close there, looks like he's got a decent car in a straight line, so maybe sacrificed a bit of that downforce there to have a go down the start-finish straight. It is a long start-finish straight here, and as we had a VSC and not a safety car, we still get DRS available on lap 3, but we're not going to see it until just before the start of lap 4 when we go back onto the start-finish straight again. But Koitz looking pretty good at the moment.
Yep, managing to get that gap and keep it roughly at about a second anyway. He just needs to pull away by about a 10th in order to get back out. There we go, he's done it.
As you can see through here from when we were watching it in qualifying, technically in terms of real life Formula 1 we've got half tanks of fuel, but obviously for this it's technically a full tank, around 50 to 55 kilos of fuel, and you really feel it in the first sort of, especially a race distance like this, or should I say laps, the amount of laps we do here, you're going to see it for about the first 10 laps or so that you really feel the weight. But when we get later on in the day, the fuel comes down, it gets lighter, looking like these guys are going to go on to soft tyres towards the end. Getting DRS for the first time today. Driver's taking that fastest lap. Koik's not getting close enough though. The thought about it, what drivers tend to do is pull to the inside, make their intentions known that they might go for it, just in the hopes that the driver defending will just give them that space, and then they can slot it down there when they get into the apex. But obviously Chuckle, wise fox, and not worried about that GT Auto overtaken. Was you overtaken by a nice job, mate, there, I think? Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, we was just overtaken there, going into turn 2 there. Nice job, mate, looking on the prof in that Alfa Romeo. He's wanting to prove what is the real Alpha.
Oh, Bowden out, and we've got a safety car now.
And that didn't take long.
It didn't take too long. It's a track where it can happen, of course, being called Monaco without the walls. Same place as Pemboden out at the same place as Royal Rumble there, so that's unfortunate. But both of them caught out at that turn 4. Didn't actually see anyone, it may have happened, but we didn't catch it, someone being spun out at turn 4 in qualifying. I don't think we ever saw that. So it just shows when you get that added weight, really what it can do. It's certainly notice this, even in a game. You can notice it just by terms of your apex speed, how the car sort of lunges more into corners. It definitely feels like it doesn't stop as quick when you hit the brake pedal. But here we go, catching up to the back of the Mercedes safety car here at Hungary. No one boxing at all. Danny did. I think that might have been for damage though on that VSC. So he's been able to catch back up now. Obviously after the safety car, good for him, of course. We'll wait to see what happens when we get going again. But just so you all know as well, safety cars are on reduced in RTG as well. So I arguably say, Lee, it's got worse than 22, and 22 was bad.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it's such a shame. It's such a shame as well, because I think from sort of F1 2019 to 2021, we were really sort of at the summit, weren't we? We were kind of, it was still going uphill. I'm not sure out of 2020 and 2021 which one was better. Nostalgical reasons, I'd probably say 2020. Did a lot of racing during COVID, and geez, that saved my bacon, I think, a little bit, the racing. I don't know what I would have done without it during COVID, to be honest, and this is how I got into commentating as well. So there's some silver linings from COVID with that. But ever since 21, it's not been a gradual downhill, it's been a north face cliff. It really has shot downhill, and I think the easiest finger to point at is the fact that when you look at the game and you look at the cover of the game, it says EA Sports on it. And unless it's, and I know we've spoke about it a lot today, unless it's FIFA, which arguably has got these issues with Ultimate Team and career mode not being good, and they kind of only base it around Ultimate Team. They're kind of renowned. They're kind of renowned. EA Sports, especially, don't have a very good reputation in the gaming community at the moment. It hasn't done for a little while. Even other games. I mean, I remember Star Wars Battlefront 2 in 2017. Can you remember all the controversy behind that with the microtransactions to get characters like Darth Vader and things, and they'd have to have been playing for like 40 hours to get him, or you could pay like a tenner to buy him. Like, it was just ridiculous. For example, at the moment though, I'm playing the newish, came out last year, Jedi Survivor in the last few days. Love it. I'm almost addicted to it. It's brilliant, fantastic game.
I want to play that. I've been itching to get that.
Honestly, it's a brilliant game, and it's got EA's name on it.
The first one.
Yeah, much better than the first one, and I loved the first one. But yeah, EA title, and it's brilliant. obviously it's got its things where those kind of first person single player adventure games have kind of got their repetitiveness, they all do, but apart from that, I can't really fault it. Anyway, safety car in this lap. We've had so many safety cars this season, I've got to talk about some other stuff sometimes. I do apologise. We get it so often, but yeah, no, it's just a shame since EA took over the F1 franchise in terms of their games. It's been a big problem, and hopefully they can start turning it around on their performance of making these games. How's well is Chuckle going to do after the safety car restart? I think he's already gone. He went quite early there. May have caught a few of them off guard. Court's Gamer wasn't one that was caught off guard, though, sticking right with him as they exit the final corner. Driver's got to be careful out of this final corner as well, Lee, because tyres are colder than they usually are, and it's a corner which you can really get wrong easily. Coit's getting very close there, and he's certainly, I'm not going to say aggressive, but he's making his presence very well known in Chuckle's mirrors at the moment. He's definitely showing his intent.
Yeah, I was thinking that he was going to go for a move going into turn one, but he backed out of it just at the last second, and it looked like he was just going to have a little bit of a dive and try and poke his nose down the inside. But right now, I'm looking at Robbo, who managed to get a good start, and he's just getting a little bit shaky in the rear coming out the chicane there.
Yeah, I agree. Struggling on the softs now. Obviously, he's going to have a little bit more life. He's had the aid of the VSC for about 3/4 of a lap, and then the safety car for a couple of laps. So going to have 2, 3, 4 extra laps of life here, which I'm assuming he's going to go to the medium. I think it's a one stop here. And pit stop time, Lee?
Well, you're in the pit lane from line to line, including your pit stop, it's about 22 seconds.
Okay.
So I would say you're lost now about 17 seconds all in all, I think.
Okay.
So
27 seconds, you mean?
No.
How
From
come
line to
22?
line, line to line, it's 22 seconds.
Yeah, but then you just said 17 seconds.
Yeah, counting distance as well.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Danny around the outside at turn 3 there. Caught it very, very late.
Prof's around. Prof is around at turn 3.
His apologies, mate. Oh, no, another safety car.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, guys. I'm really, really sorry about this. Somewhat feel responsible for it, but that... apologies for me as well. My controller just died, so apologies for that. Wanted to charge my iPad, which I keep all my stats on and notes and what have you, and I forgot to change it over during qualifying. Yeah, apologies for the other safety car that we've got now, but that shouldn't have happened, should it? That was just a spin. But it has meant that from the second time of asking Lee, or the second time having that option, a lot of them are deciding that they're not going to miss out on the chance of effectively a free pit stop. But the majority of them are, actually. Only a few of them have come in.
Yeah, and that's...
less than I thought.
Koyak's onto the softs. Somebody's going a bit aggressive here.
Ooh, Prof.
Prof.
It's gone from bad to worse for Prof, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't help when you've not got a front wing. That increases your
He's going onto the softs as well.
braking distance.
So are people now maybe doing a soft medium here? Probably thinking that we'll get another safety car later on. That might be...
It's a possibility.
That potentially could be the way it's going. Yeah, just sorry once again for the safety car. Me and Lee will try and keep you entertained as much as possible. We're going to have to start thinking of things to do during safety cars at this point. It's becoming that frequent, and unfortunately, of course, sometimes it is the drivers, and you can't help it. We're only human. They are going to make mistakes and that kind of thing. But you know, I'd at least say 40 40 to 60% of the time, they're not needed. And as John said earlier on, it really does just ruin flow of races, ruins it for us, ruins it for you guys, and most importantly, I'd arguably say the drivers, actually, because they're obviously here to race. They're not here to drive around behind a safety car for multiple laps. It's not really what they want to be doing. It's their hobby, because of course they choose to do this. They choose to do this instead of, you know, people to do whatever they want for a hobby. I'm not sure what you do. Again, first thought football, five-a-side football, but it's effectively like almost like rugby with a sin bin, but getting a yellow card every few minutes and having to sit out for 5 minutes. It's not something where you want to go and do that. So it's just a bit of a shame for those guys. Yeah. Just trying to think. F1 wise, of course, off season is so much harder to talk about anything to do with F1 at the moment, because we don't really know. Drive to Survive, I guess that should be next month. Gone off it in the last couple of years, though. Feels like it's been more Americanized, a bit more dramatized, being a little bit of an F1. You know, I'm mad about my F1, so. I don't know if
it's like keeping up with the Kardashians, but F1.
It's sort of. I mean, it's become very popular. I mean, looking on Netflix now, I see, you know, they've got the one about golf, they've got the one about tennis now, they've got. Just brought out another one as well. I can't remember what that one's for.
I remember I've seen one on. What was it? Disney. The Braun GP one.
Yeah. So they brought that out. Keanu Reeves talking about Braun, of course, telling the story of 2009. Which, I mean, I'm 29. I was a kid when that happened. I was 14, and it feels like yesterday when that came out. And unfortunately, we've had a quick safety car actually. So at least we're getting underway again. Interestingly, Chuckle's gone onto the hard tyre. So his intent is now to go to the end for sure. 25 laps, 26 laps to... No, sorry, it'll be 25 laps he'll be doing. Yeah, he's the first one to have stopped now. So arguably, technically, we would say net first. Danny as well actually has stopped, but he's not going to be able to go the full distance. Super Striker, they're going to get us underway again. Preferred older tyres and track position to fresh tyres, and the hope of something coming along later on. He wants it here and now, and he's got going again now as we go around the final corner and get racing once again. And it looks like he's almost left Aki for dust, and Chuck has responded really well here. Looks like he might go to the inside. Confusingly, both Mercedes are car number 5 as well. Wow.
Oh, and wait there, and through goes Kayaks. Oh my god, he's just went and got 3 of them all in the one go. With Chuckle, Danny and Ginge there.
Wow.
And now he's moved it up into 6th place. What a move there.
Lee, you might have to save that video clip, Lee. You might have to try and save that for me. That seemed like that was very good. Sorry, Spartan. Yeah, shame I didn't catch that.
Saved.
Well, thank you. You may be able to send that to me at some point. Koik's Gamer said getting very aggressive now, overtaking his rival, of course, who was fighting for the lead earlier on. That's something he crucially needed to do, because he's on the hunt here. And is he going to go for another one here into turn 12? He has done and got it done, obviously on the newer tyres, but it still needed some bravery and some confidence there. Chuckle trying to go around the outside at turn 13. It meant he had the inside line for the final corner, and he's got past and trying to stick with Koik's Gamer for as long as he possibly can. He should get away, but how far away is he going to get? Crucially, the red ball on the inside now of the Alpha Tauri of Pippo Kennedy. Koik's is on an absolute mission at the moment. He's got the bit between his teeth. Tunnel vision's going. Nothing looks like they can stop this man right now. He's made every overtake that he possibly could in that first lap after the safety car.
Yep, he certainly has. And then, judging by the way he's going at this moment, he just got a warning there. Judging by the rate he's going at the moment, then he could possibly end up being in the lead within the next couple of laps, at the latest anyway. And it just goes to show you how much of a difference there is in tyres. But he will have to make another pit stop, so he is going to be having to boot it.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what he's doing at the moment. Chuckle is being held up by Pippo Kennedy, which of course is not what he's going to be wanting at all. Just seeing Koiks going faster and faster. Inside line at turn 13, outside line at turn 14. As I said, nothing can stop the Dutchman right now. He's channeling his inner Max Verstappen, that's for sure. The Red Bull, in a Red Bull, the Dutchman. He's looking like Max Verstappen at the moment. That Red Bull as well, looking like an absolute train right now. It certainly looks like it's on rails. As Chuckle, is he going to go for it here into turn 2? He's also got to get on with it. Of course, someone who stopped and hopefully doesn't have to stop again. But Pippo Kennedy blocking the inside line and then parking it on the apex, leaving Chuckle nowhere to go. And he's still stuck behind when Koiks is making up more and more places. And it almost looked like he was going to go for it again as Aki got out of shape as he was going through the chicane. Koikso going left, right, thinking about every corner, every chance he's got to make a move. And I got a really good feeling here, Lee, that he might go for it into 12. He gets the exit out of 11. Bit too far back, bit too optimistic for him there. His Chuckle, though, going to go for it. Got the inside line at turn 12. Outside for turn 13. We tried to see him make this stick once before, and he's got it done before 14. Who says you can't overtake around Hungary, League? Who says?
Yeah, well, these guys are certainly proving we're wrong. Robo there looked like he was going to have a wee move on Pippo Kennedy.
I think he is. It's a nice job as well.
He's
going for it as well. Oh, that was close. He couldn't have braked any later there, otherwise he would have took Chuckle with him. Pippo Kennedy.
Koyak's gamer around the outside at turn 2 on Aki, and now it switches to the inside, and it's going to be a long game of chicken. And unfortunately, Koyak's gamer wasn't able to carry the momentum up to turn 4 to be able to get that second place.
Unlucky.
But could he be going for it now? He is. He's going for it into the chicane. They're side by side, and he takes as much of that curb as possible. And now he's up into second place. And now he's got that Ferrari of Super Striker in his sights.
Chuck's lost a couple of places there as well. And yeah, as you said, Super Striker's in his sights now. Soft tyre looking very good at the moment. Ever since I've only done one, started overtakes of the month last month. They're making my job hard. I mean, there's been a good few overtakes in the first couple of weeks of January, and some definitely more than good. And Hoyks, I think, wanting to be in that top 7 when we come to the end of January as he makes his way onto the start-finish straight. DRS enabled. He's not playing games. He doesn't want to go to the inside like Super Striker is, trying to break the toe. Arguably lost him more time. Lee went further, and look how much later Koiks can brake. And I don't think he outbrakes himself at all. It's just showing the grip those soft tyres have. Inside line now, easy peasy lemon squeezy for the Red Bull driver. Gets up into first place and is now got to try and create a gap to drivers like Chuckle, who of course is still fighting for the lead after they've already pit. But as you said, Lee, Koiks has got to pit again. Chuckle technically doesn't have to pit again with what tyres he's got on his car. So he's got to get on with it, and it's qualifying laps from now on.
Yep, well, the soft tyres could go up to 18 laps, which is
this going to be a double stop? Is this going to be a double soft then, maybe?
For Koyaks, it will be a double soft, but judging by the way things are right now, the hard tyres could go up to 28 laps, though. Obviously, you've got to be taking care of them a little, and then the mediums, the C3, could go 24 laps.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's Max taking care of them in that.
Yeah, and the fact he's making overtakes, Chuckle, at the moment, he surely won't be preserving the tyres like he would want. But he as well, even though Koiks got on with it quicker, Chuckles bided his time and got through now into second. And it's not like Koiks is actually far down the road at all. But was that a big mistake from the others who didn't decide to pit under that safety car because they're just so far back now? I just feel like they should have pit before, but again, it's hard to decide whether that's the right choice or not when you're doing this all on your own, really.
Yeah, you don't really know what people are doing just up ahead of whether they stayed out or not, so it's, well, unless you've got the full track map up, that is, but yeah, you've just got to try and wing it pretty much. Well, I'm seeing Goyix is actually flashing away. He's wringing that battery out like it was a sponge.
Yeah, it looks like he has been. Yeah, but 10% battery. Yeah, so he really has used all of it, and that now, where it's aided him in the last couple of laps, could now really hinder him in the next 5 to 10 laps, because it's much easier to use it than it is to save it. We all know that in the month of January after Christmas as well, don't we? As Robbo goes to the inside here, he wants to get himself up into the top 3. The man that took pole in season 12 the last time we were here is now up into the podium places, but of course bear in mind he is a reserve, so podium places on the road, but when in terms of stats and standings, when we finish today's race, he would not be on that podium. Pippo Kennedy now inside it of Lee. I think these guys are trying to make up for all the laps we've had under the safety car, Lee, as RTG Lee had defended it. Coit's Gamer now gets himself a 3-second time penalty, and Lee going really far off the track there, surely got himself a warning as the car became unbalanced at the apex of turn 4 through 5 and 6 and 7, 6 and 7 being the chicane, through turn 8 and 9, arguably the trickiest part of this circuit they're going through right now, but mainly single file through here, and unless you've woken up nice and early or an alert and want to go for it, or had your Weetabix, you're not going to go for it in the middle sector.
I'm seeing, who was that? Nice job, mate, getting awfully close to the back of Super Striker now. And it looks like he's switching to the right hand side, and he's moved up into 4th place. Looked like the Super Striker was going for a cutback there, but fortunately couldn't get the traction needed.
So yeah, now after restarting the safety car a few laps ago, Super Striker now fallen back to 5th. I've said it before, I'll say it again, the tyre difference on this game, even after a few laps, when you put a new set on, the differential is just massive in the first few laps, and it really costs you. The other exciting thing there, I've got the graphic up on my screen at the moment, the tyres, 3 different compounds in the top 3 right now.
Oh yeah.
All same ages.
Yep.
Coit's Gamer went very wide off the track there at turn 11. One of those places in recent history, I'm not sure about 23, can't really remember, where it doesn't give you a warning if you go so far wide, and I think Coit's may have exploited that little advantage there. Through the final corner, yellow flags flying, that's for the Red Bull of Arg. He gets himself back underway, almost got himself beached there by the looks of things, but he's got himself underway. It's all happening at the front. Chuckle looking to the inside here, had the inside, but when we get dragged down towards turn 2, he's got the outside, only leaving him just enough space, trying to hold it on around the outside. Inside for turn 3, gets it done, but had to push the Dutchman off the track. Now Robbo goes up on him as well. Coit's has gone from 1st to 3rd in a matter of corners, and yeah, no playing around here, Lee.
No, certainly not. The soft tyres will be starting to fall off the cliff now. We'll see. They'll only have another 8 laps, but then again, that will be pushing them to the rims pretty much.
And nice job, mate, getting involved in this as well. He's caught up to those guys. There's a bit of a gap back then to 5th, around 4.5 to 5 seconds in between there. And there's a little cluster of cars forming there as well, with a few more behind them, with a bit of a gap as well, so they may be able to catch up as well. Interesting though, what's going to happen here, as you said, Coix is going to have to pit again. As we've seen already, the soft's going to work really well early on. Robbo now to the inside, went very much to the inside to make sure he got that space. Chuckle though getting the switch back, but as I said, Robbo being a reserve, so can have the lead on the road, as he took way too much curb into the entry of turn 2 there, Lee, and almost lost the car there. Actually, he went through turn 3 nicely, and now turn 4 with Chuckle very, very close, keeping tabs on the race leader now. It's exciting to see, isn't it? 4 drivers in such close proximity in that lead pack. It's definitely gets the adrenaline pumping a little bit. And it's going to be happening for Coix as well, because he's going to have to be looking in his mirrors now, and he's surely going to be debating whether he made the right decision or not, because at this point it's not looking very good for him, I must admit.
Yeah, was looking all right for him at the start, just after the safety car, but then again, with the soft tyres just running out too quickly, and then there we go, that's left him vulnerable to Coix, to Nice Job Mate, sorry, who's just went and managed to steal that 3rd place away from him.
Yeah, so not sure what he's got to offer now in terms of those soft tyres. Certainly coming towards the end of their life. What did you say, Lee? 18 laps they can do. We're on lap 12 with them. He's going to have to be pitting in the next lap or 2. He's going to have to go to the soft, surely. Back marker in the middle there. He's going to get out of the way. That's Arg. He's already a lap down after the safety car. So after that trouble he had at turn 5 a couple of laps ago, it's really, really cost him now. As I said, Lee, three car battle for 5th as well going on, so keep an eye on that.
Yep, keeping a little bit of an eye on that right now. But yeah, Coix game unfortunately not had the strategy. He's just fallen right back. So from 1st place, and now he's lost about 3 seconds from the leader, which is Robbo right now.
But yeah,
so
now
not been the best.
Now he's got to think about whether to pit a bit earlier or to just hang it out a little bit longer and know he's got the tyres to last to the end. I'd arguably say option 2 is the more preferable option, but also it depends where he's going to fall into the traffic as Pippo Kennedy makes his way into the pit. Surely going to go onto the soft tyres, locking up, trying to get the car stopped as late as possible. Can lock all 4 tyres up at this point. It doesn't matter at all because they're going to get thrown in the bin in a few seconds. Super Striker taking the fastest lap. Yeah, onto the soft. So he thinks they're going to be able to go the distance. So surely we'll see Coix in a minute, of course, though, having that 3-second time penalty hanging over his head. The only one with the time penalty at the moment, Lee, as well. Also a nice thing to see, the fact that we haven't really got that black and white box to the right of drivers' names this evening.
Yeah, we'll definitely say it is a bit unfortunate and a bit annoying sometimes when we're trying to determine what's going to happen in the coming final stages. And it seems like Coix is exploiting that glitch again.
So it's not up for us, but I'm sure potential drivers will penalise him for that. He comes into the pits now a lap later than Pippo Kennedy did, who went on to the softs. He's down in 14th. I think that's where he might come out, Lee, actually, around there. 12th, 13th, something like that. That's where I think. First big pit box, of course, for the Red Bulls last season and for the coming season as well, for being the Constructors' champions. The Ferrari goes past, Prof goes past as well. Here comes Chuck and Looney Man, so he's going to slot in behind them, 10th actually, so a little bit further up than I thought. He has got the Merc closing in on him though, and he's been able to hold 10th actually, so he's got to do charge 2.0 now, Lee. He's gone to the mediums as well, not the softs.
Yeah, I think that was just due to him possibly not having a spare set of softs, and yeah, he pitting that little bit earlier. It's a bit of one of them. You should have put a little bit earlier for the medium compound, I would have said.
Yeah, knowing he went on the mediums now, he probably should have gone a lap or two earlier than this. He has already caught up to the back of Looney Man, who will be struggling on those hard tyres. I think they're older hards. They are the 7 laps old, so just coming into the end of their prime life. Can go quite a long way, the hard tyres. Prof into the pits, so just seeing these last pit stops happening now. DRS is going to be available for Queeks Gamer here. Is he going to get past before turn 1, or is it going to be in turn 1? He's going to go for it. Got it done before turn 1, obviously having the better traction out of the final corner. Pippo Kennedy setting the fastest lap on the soft tyres. Chuck up next for him. Surely Robbo's going to have to pit as well, Lee. Surely. 15 laps on those mediums. I don't think he can do another 11.
Yeah, it is possible, but they will be.
Is it realistic though?
Puncture territory. Yeah, it says here the medium compound can do up to 24 laps, so
Okay.
it will be pushing it, but yeah, unsure how it's going to work out, especially with a nice job closing in. It's got that gap down to 1.3 seconds now.
Yeah, the hard tyre will be certainly the better one of the two now at this stage of proceedings. Chuckle, though, still sticking with him as well, using the DRS to push him along, help him along. Queeks Gamer, has he got another one, another position up for grabs here? Rear light flashing for Chuck, which tells Queeks he's down on power. And easy catch for him as well there. And now 7th place, got 3.5 seconds to get up to Super Striker, then another gap, and then he's got a big gap after Matty Jones of 10 seconds to the top 3. That's a tall order for him to try and claw back in not too many laps now.
Yeah, we've only got about 10 laps remaining, so it's going to be a tough one. Don't think he's going to be able to catch up to Lee, possibly. It's going to be a tough one for him, I'd say. Robo into the pit.
Oh, sorry about that. I was on mute there. I didn't realise. Yeah. Sorry, I was just saying, soft tyres, it's got to be at this stage of the race. It's too late for the mediums now. Well, it's not too late, but in terms of practicality, in terms of strategy, it's too late for the mediums. There goes Queeks. He's moved up on him as well now. And he slots in between Chuck and Looney Man. We'll have to look in his mirror slightly, though. He's getting closer.
I was going to say, I think it would have been better for him pitting the lap before, because then you might have got out in front of Chuck anyway.
Yeah, maybe. But again, he doesn't know that, unfortunately. He can't take that all in. They may have the full track map up, but to sort of digest that information, it's too difficult whilst picking braking zones, gear changes. Some drivers, of course, changing brake balance and things like that. It's just too much to sort of get right. If you do try and do that, I'm sure you're going to end up in the gravel, grass, or wall, or all of the above. Koikso still very good pace, bringing that gap down. But at the moment, Chuckle pissing for the hard tyres earlier on. Looks like it's been a good call so far.
Yeah, but he's certainly got away quite nicely. He's got that big gap to Matty Jones, who's sitting in third right now, so It's looking quite good for him, of course, and his job mate's obviously a reserve tonight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Trickle's looking pretty up the top there. Of course, Pippo Kennedy's got that fastest lap extra point at the moment, but oh no, there's still plenty of time for that all to change. Well, Robbo's just went onto the soft tyres, and we'll be able to see what he's going to be able to do.
And look at this, in the middle of the top 10, very, very close. Super Striker, Coix Game getting himself another penalty. He went wide there. I think that was a little bit harsh because he actually lost a load of time, losing a place as well to Robbo, who darts around the outside at turn 9.
It was graceful as a ballet dancer. It was nice overtake.
Yeah, it was a lovely one there actually. It was brave and committed as well. It may have half shut one eye, I think, when he was doing that because it was high risk to get that done. But this big queue here coming out the final corner, of course, Matty Jones, the only one without the DRS. Is he going to be the cork in the bottle here? Super Striker looking to the inside. Then Robbo looking to the inside of him. It's 3 wide into turn 1. Robbo makes up 2 places. Got much later on the brakes. An absolutely lovely move. I'll say it again. Why can't you overtake in Hungary, Lee? Because it looks like these guys are showing you can. And he might be going for another one here as he's right on the gearbox of the other Ferrari of Matty Jones. Got a driver who's spun out there. No, got a green flag racing again. And getting closer and closer. Is he going to look to the outside here at turn 5? Don't think I've ever seen a move there.
No.
Nope. No, braking zone's just quite short.
12.
Maybe. Ginge get himself a 3-second time penalty. This is where we saw Robbo go around the outside of Coix a lap before. Looking to the outside at 10. Into turn 11. But turn 12, this is the place where he might go for it. He is going to go for it. Matty Jones moves to the inside to squeeze the line for him. He wasn't faced. Outbraked him. Outmaneuvered him. And has moved up into 3rd place. But of course, he'll also be one of the drivers that will be removed from the order once this race has been concluded. Super Striker is very close to the back of his teammate, but doesn't look like he has a straight line speed. What is this? Coix Gamer, optimistic, and maybe a little too optimistic there, as he was. His door was squeezed, and they made slight contact there. But I definitely think that was a little optimistic from Coix.
Yeah, it was a bit of a terrible one when that happens. You see the gap and you think, brilliant, got an opening, but it gets ripped away, unfortunately. But looking up, Coix is still right on the exhaust of Super Striker. Well, both Ferraris, really.
Yeah, he's very close and wanting to get on with it. Stays within track limits there. I think just was in track limits through turn 11. His next
just out.
Maybe, I'm not sure. Round turn 13. And on to 14. So Robbo would take 2 cars down this straight as he now takes fastest lap as well. Man on a mission as well. The only thing is Coix is running low on the old battery. It's not going to deter him though. Gifted the inside line. Oh no!
Oh,
Braked.
Ambitious.
Far too late. I don't think that was ambitious. I think that maybe slight incompetence there actually. I think he just outbraked himself a bit too much, maybe 10 or 15 metres too much actually.
Yeah.
And it cost him the place he was trying to gain as well. Difficult though, have to admit. Oh, he's all over the road now. I think frustration is starting to become the better of him. I still haven't seen him move around the outside at turn 5. I still haven't. Almost happened though with RTG Lee. Gave it a go. And Coix now trying it on the inside of turn 7 and 8. And is plunged into the wall.
Oh.
I feel like, and there's 3 of them round. It's a virtual safety car. Oh no, that was not brilliant there. I'm not too sure whose fault that was, though, because he definitely had the inside into the apex. And I feel like Matty didn't want to give it up. They both didn't, and 2 into 1 doesn't go.
Well, that's the thing. Matty didn't really get left the space.
Is there space, though? Is there space, though, for 2 cars there?
At the same time, well, Kotick should have left a bit of the space. Unfortunately, he kind of shoved him off. We've seen him being able to do it earlier on in the race.
Oh, and here goes Matty Jones doing a lease special. I think he's going to retire anyway. Yeah, it is a shame. Only a few laps to go. Could have bagged himself some points.
My record's still 3, and it was here.
There you go. A lease special, if anyone doesn't know, is overtaking into the pit lane under a VSC or safety car. Matty did it there, but obviously outbrakes himself. 5-second penalty. But obviously he didn't worry about it because his intentions was to retire anyway.
Why was Ginger literally stopped in the middle of the pit lane there?
Not too sure. No idea. F1.
That's
F123. Drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car there. I think that might have been for 2 of them. I have a feeling I saw 2 of those, but one popped out straight after the other.
We'll have a real look, and I'll see. Yep, Lee and Arg.
Yeah, I thought so.
I think that was with Lee just coming out of the pit lane, which, to be honest, I've got to say is bull honky. But back underway, racing again anyway, and Robbo's managed to get that gap down to 4.4 seconds now. And we've only got about 3 and a bit laps to go.
3.5 laps to go. Certainly since the last safety car, Lee, I don't know about you, it's gone very, very quickly. The racing's been fantastic since that last safety car. You've seen some fantastic moves. The only downside is, of course, nice job, Robbo. They're going to be pulled out. So at the moment, just to keep you updated, Chuckle, Super Striker and Pippa Kennedy are the drivers on the podium right now. And interesting in terms of title race as well, Lee, I have to say. If it stays like this, we'd still only had 3 different winners in the Thursday Tier 2. Chuck has 2 wins to his name. If it stays like this, Chuck will have 2 to his name as well, and Pippo having the 1 win to his name. But of course, Pippo been very, very consistent, and over a course of a season, that is really what you need. But it's certainly going to make the racing, make the standings from next week onwards a little bit more interesting, I must admit. These guys going on to lap 33, so 3 laps to go.
Yeah, the only one that's really close right now is Koyix, who's right on the back of Prof here, and they're just coming into turn at 12, so he's going to end up having the DRS on Prof. Unfortunately, he won't have the battery that Prof's got. He's got, I don't know, 4 times the amount.
He's just got much more superior grip, and we're watching it.
And DRS.
Yeah, and he did that perfectly, absolutely perfectly timed. But yeah, I feel like that was always going to happen just with the tyre offset. I must admit. Chuck and Pippo, though, this is interestingly because this is for the final podium place. Yes, it's actually for 5th on the road, but as I said, in terms of standing statistics, it will be a pole. It will be a podium. Sorry, not pole position. That was a long time ago now. Yeah, it's a fight for the podium here, so it's quite interesting. Interesting in terms of tyres as well. 11-lap-old softs for Pippo, 15-lap-old. Oh, maybe that's just gone out the window.
Yep, and that's going to end up putting him behind Aki. And possibly even Danny if he doesn't get the finger out.
And of course, those 2 will know he's got a time penalty. You can see the couple of drivers ahead of you on your personal standings when you're racing. So those 2 will know Chuck has got a penalty. So it might give them a bit of a final lease of life when we come to the last 2 laps of this race. And Robbo now within a second of Chuckle. With a lap and a bit to go, Lee, driver of the day.
Yep.
Ooh. It's a difficult one today, I miss. It is a difficult one.
It is. I mean, I would say, nice job, mate, coming up from 18th. Oh, Robbo getting that overtake done.
I think he let him pass.
Yeah, I was just the way to say that. But yeah, I would have said nice job, mate, or Robbo, considering how well they have done. But of course, reserves. I would say Pippo, or possibly Chuckle.
I'm going to go a bit left field here. I'm going to say GTO'd at the moment inside the top 10. Up 4 places.
Yep. Oh, not giving Koyaks the space at all. They're fighting tooth and nail for that 10th position.
I'm not sure, though, really, why Koiks doesn't need to be aggressive at all anymore. He's got quite a lot of penalties to his name now. So regardless if he gets his place or not, he's not going to be finishing 10th. That's for sure. Is he going to go for it here? Is GTO going to defend it? I think it was a wise decision not to, actually. Oh, no, sorry, we can't give it to GTO either because he's another reserve.
Oh, yeah.
Who did you say before? You said Pippo, didn't you? But
or Chuckle.
I think Chuckle today. He hasn't really put a foot wrong, has he? Let's be honest. He called the strategy tremendously here. So we're about to come around the final 2 corners of this Hungarian Grand Prix. It's been a mixed bag, but overall I think it's been more of a thumbs up than a thumbs down. Nice job, mate, rounds the final corner. He will take the checkered flag. Congratulations to him. Robbo comes home second, but Chuckle wins his second race of the season. And he does it in style on the start-finish straight. Super Striker coming around the final corner. He is going to finish in second place. Great performance from him. Pippo Kennedy finishes third. He may be still leading the championship when we go on to the next round. Chuck finishes 6th, then 7th, being overtaken by his teammate. Looney Man overtakes Danny. Koiks Game is going to cross the line in 10th. And let's see if it is 10th. Obviously, GTO is going to be taken out of the order as well. So Prof is, yeah, I think so. So, yeah, Prof will be 10th. 11th will be Koiks.
Ginge just rounding the final corner now. Comes home in 13th and then 14th for Lee. And then we've got Ark who rounds out the final order, who's just coming around the final corner now.
So yeah, my summary of that, Lee, is it was not the best of starts, but it definitely got better and better, I think.
Yes, got to agree there.
So it's giving it to Robbo. Obviously we can't give it to Robbo, so we're going to give it to Chuckle.
Yeah, so having a little rundown of the final order. A nice job, mate, who crossed the line first, coming all the way up from 18th position. And then you had Robbo, another reserve, who came up from 15th to finish second. Absolutely smashing job from the pair of them. Chuckle, though, in the third, gets the driver of the day. In fourth, Super Striker, and it was Pippo Kennedy. Aki in sixth. Seventh was Chuck. 8th, Looney Man. 9th, Danny. GTR in 10th. 11th, Prof. Koi's Gamer in 12th. Ginge in 13th. 14th was Lee. And Arg was the one that rounded us out. In 15th, Matty Jones, Per Bowden and Royal Rumble all did not finish the Grand Prix.
So yeah, that is it, and we will sit around. We're in the chat where drivers are coming for an interview. We give it a few minutes whether they want to or not. Of course, don't have to. Before that, though, again, please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're liking the content, especially if you're in RTG. Please subscribe to the channel. Like the videos as well, it's much appreciated. And I said share it to people if you want to get them to join the league. Obviously, the best promotion you can get is just watching the actual live stream. So share it around, please. It would be appreciated. As I said, next Monday, I'm not going to be here. It's going to be Lee for Brazil. And it is a sprint next week for Brazil, and the week after that in Spain as well. Lee will be on his own for that one as well. Back with me and Lee next week, Lee. It's another difficult track. Any guesses?
Which is that? Please don't be Singapore. I'd have done that.
Look at that, ladies and gents. He banged it straight on the head.
Oh, fuck.
Now Lee's going to cry for a week. His speller, Lee, hasn't got the chicanes in the middle anymore. It's got better.
Yeah, but I kind of missed the Singapore slang. That was fun.
And stupid. Right. Okay, so...
I don't think we're going to have anyone.
No, they usually turn up pretty quick. No, I don't think it's going to happen. So we will, or Lee will be back next Monday. Check out the highlights video over the weekend. It will be Saturday or Sunday. It's always either 5 or 6 o'clock, so it'll always be that. So make sure to check that out. And yeah, you're going to have some audio for the last bit of the race on Monday. I'll make sure to dub some over. Don't worry about that. And check out the moments of the week, obviously the top 3 moments from this week as well. The short videos also on TikTok and Instagram as well. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Until next time, it's goodbye from me and from Lee.